You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Spirit Dimension with your host, Kerry Greenaway, right here on Parasearch Radio.
Good evening and welcome to The Spirit Dimension. My name is Kerry Greenaway. And as always on the Spirit Dimension, I like to bring you something just a little bit different on a Sunday evening. I like to bring you something from the spiritual world, the esoterical world, the metaphysical world. Now tonight is no different. I'm absolutely so astonished I've managed to actually convince her. But I've managed to get one of my crystal sisters into the studio with me. Her name is Jenny Mills. Good evening, Jenny, and how are you?
Good evening. Not too bad.
Another friend of mine who's been on quite a journey with me over the last few years. It's been quite integral into my personal journey. So I wanted to bring Jenny on because she's been through quite a journey herself and hasn't always embraced the spiritual world, the world that she embraces now. So I wanted to sort of like bring her on so we could share Jenny's journey and tell you a little bit about what Jenny does. So Jenny, where did you start? I mean, I know you've always been quite a spiritual person, but when did it really kick in for you?
When I was 17. Up until then, I was a rogue, never hurting others, but, you know, mischief, my own person, all about me. Losing my granddad was my awakening. I'd always been aware spiritually. I'd had healing, had mental health issues, healing with that. Through an eating disorder, and then started growing.
And how did that take part for you? I mean, you know, these are quite big issues you've had to deal with, the mental health issues, the eating disorder. How did you get through that to then become quite empowered in what you do now?
When I think if we hit rock bottom, which as a person I was, because when I say mental health, it was depression and anorexia. Mm-hmm. And I had total self-loath. My body wasn't worthy. I met an amazing lady called Lily Fry, God rest her soul, an amazing healer. She took me under her wing. Mm-hmm. Then as I went through that journey, I thought, you know what, there's got to be more to this. There's more out there. Switched off, got angry with the world, and then lost my granddad. Met a random stranger in...
Yeah, death is actually quite a transformational time for people, isn't it?
Most definitely. When you meet a random lady who calls you by your granddad's nickname, you got to start listening. You got to start realising there's more dimensions than the one we all see every single day. Yeah. And from her, I started to grow. I was aware that my mum was a working medium. I knew what she did. It weren't for me. I was a goth. I'm not into all that. Then started to grow, but not that fast. Went into it a little bit, pulled away. I played with a Ouija board. Oh, my Picasso. That was yeah. That was a learning curve.
Now, there's a lot of, talking about Ouija, there's an awful lot of hype surrounding the Ouija board. Are you happy to discuss what happened when you dealt with the Ouija?
Yeah, mine wasn't the most positive experience in that I wasn't, what's the word? I don't know, clued up enough, qualified to deal with what I was facing. TV steamed up, looked like cracks in the screen, very, very agitated person that wanted to communicate. Horrendous, felt horrendous myself. The whole room was cloudy. I'm very, very fortunate. We're a very spiritual family. As I say, my mum worked with spirit many, many years. They came in, sorted it, done. But that then shut me down for a long, long time. I pulled away from all things spiritual. Mm-hmm. And dabbled in and out over the years. I think used in the right environment with the right knowledge, I think they're an amazing way to communicate.
Yeah.
But they become a toy. This is the problem. Mm-hmm. And then we open up portals that we shouldn't, and all that mischief, you know. But my biggest awakening was my out-of-body experience.
Okay.
And I haven't looked back.
So what happened regarding your out-of-body?
My spine collapsed 4 years ago. I had to have major surgery. And all I can say to you is imagine the most stunning field you've ever seen. And as you're walking along, there's a gorgeous light at the end. And as you start to go into that light, you hear your granddad's voice. I'd waited, I was 38 then. I'd waited 20 years to hear my granddad's voice again. Mm-hmm. And there he is. Telling me how wonderful my boys are, how proud he is, how he watches over them. He's seen me doing different things. He said, but you've gone on a major spiritual journey. He said, and I want you to go into business of who you are. If you do it, there'll be food on the table, roof over your head. And I was like, I don't get what you mean, Grandad. I don't understand. He said, who you are, sell things linked to who you are. By then, I'd already started collecting all my elephants, my Buddhas, my angels, a couple of little crystals, predominantly more spiritual goodies, I call them, tinsel bells and everything else. I was having the most amazing time. I pre-surgery, I was in a wheelchair and on a Zimmer frame, off my face, on medication. Didn't know who I was. Mm-hmm. At that time, in that experience, there was no pain. I was walking. I was having an amazing time. To which he explained what to do. I kept chatting with him and he said to me, your boys will be okay, but you need to go back to your boys. And I was like, no, Grandad, you don't understand. I need to talk to you. What about this? What about Mum? Mum really misses you. Do you watch down on my mum? I had so much I wanted to say. And the only way I could explain it is as if I was sitting in front of you, Kel. That's how clear my granddad was. I could see him. I could hear him. I could feel him. I could smell him. Mm-hmm. Gets me emotional now because it was like having my granddad back.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it's unless you've had that experience, you can't put it into words. You can't understand it.
No, you can't.
No. So yeah, he told me to go back. I went off in the field. I remember seeing the daffodils. I remember flowers, both of which are very significant to me. And when I was born, daffodils were a big thing that was given. When I then got back on the ward, what I didn't know had happened, which confirmed it all for me, was while in surgery, it was due to be 4 to 6 hours. I was down there for 14 hours. When they opened up my spine, there was complication. I had to have 3 pints of blood because I started to struggle. And I also had a mini TIA, and they started to lose me. The man's an angel on earth. Mr. Prasad saved my life. Mm-hmm. Now I know why I experienced. I saw Grandad because I'd gone. Yeah. I was off, gone, and they were fighting to bring me back. So I kept my promise. As a kid, my close mates at school called me Jay instead of Jenny. My world is spiritual stuff, spiritualism. So hence Jay's World, my business, and I launched it. He told me not to work for 3 years, and I launched it within 6 months of surgery.
Now, I have known you since we were little girls, haven't I?
Yes, because we lived round the corner to each other.
Because we lived round the corner to each other. Now, I actually, although I knew Jenny from those years ago, she was a face around where we live, the island, you know, that you go, all right, how you doing? Now, I remember Jenny basically post-surgery just starting to get back on her feet, walking around the town. And we was always, hi, Jen, all right, how you doing? And she'd be like, hiya. And it was like a face you knew, but we didn't sort of know, as it were, wasn't it? It was one of those kind of, we recognised each other, but didn't really sort of like remember. And you launched Jay's World and started in the local centre.
That's right, I did,
selling your goodies. And that's when we first really reconnected with each other, wasn't it?
Most definitely, yeah.
And our spiritual journey,
it was lovely.
It's kind of run parallel to each other since then, hasn't it? Although we've got very different pathways, we kind of have had that. It's very strange, is all I can say.
Yeah, we have definitely got a connection. I mean, I was that kid that never fitted in. I wasn't the in kid. I was always a bit weird. Then me and you got talking. He was like, yeah, I so get that. And it was just like a kindred soul, because we are different. We are unique. But there's more of us like us than, well, you know, God
Muggles.
Brigade and stuff.
Muggles is what I call them. I love J.K. Rowling for that term, I have to say.
Yeah.
But as I say, even though we're both on the same spiritual path and we sort of came together again as friends on a spiritual level, we have got very different paths in the spiritual world, haven't we?
Oh, most definitely, yeah. And yet we still managed to interlink, and we both managed to support each other, which is why, like we say, when I do the spiritual events, you're the first one I message, because it's your crystal I trust, the calibre of it, I want it there. I sell some crystal, I'm no expert, that's your area, but you know, I bought so many beautiful pieces from yourself.
Oh, hell yeah. But you also... But there's three of us.
Oh, just lost it.
No, you're okay. You're still with us. There is three of us. There's myself, there's obviously Jenny, and there's also another lady called Hazel Parr, and we call ourselves the Crystal Sisters. The Crystal Sisters. And when we do a room, when we work a room, like an event room.
Oh, it's amazing.
The energy, you can't, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is buzzing. It's like our own little rave going down.
And we keep saying this, we need to go raving sometime, the three of us.
We haven't done it yet. Scare everyone. I don't think they're ready for us yet.
It's almost like a three-pronged attack. We have because we all work in very different ways, but incredibly close with energy. We have a three-pronged attack. Now, Jenny, explain what kind of spiritual vibe you come from, because you're very boho, very hippy, aren't you?
Yeah. There's no airs and graces. What you see is what you get. I have a lovely relationship with my guides. Yes, I love to ground myself. Most people know me as the barefoot hippie, because I don't care what time of the year. If I can get away with it, the shoes are off.
True that.
Don't like them. Can't be doing with them. Where I am currently in Eastgate, I have to wear shoes, really restricting, but hey. I love to connect with Native American guides that I'm blessed to have with me. I also have the angels, the Chinese come in, but I'm much more, I say peace and love. It's not so much the love, it's just always working in the light, but I connect directly with them and let them use me as a channel.
You certainly do, because people resonate with you in a way that I come across probably quite a little standoffish at times, I would say.
You've been in until we know you, that's why, yeah.
But you are very like Earth Mother is where I'd go. Very earth mothery and very nurturing in the way you work with people. And that is not, I say, you do a little crystal, but you do a lot of other things.
No, mine's more the other side. Mine's more, I've got no qualification in it, but these people come to me and I end up drawing on my own life experiences, and it's like healing with words. I do hands-on healing. There is always something sentimental on my stall, from a guardian angel to someone needs to vibrate. I've got tincture bells. That's more who I am, something to comfort you, something to reassure them and to listen. Yeah, I do. And ones, I like to take them all under my wing.
You do very much so. And people love to resonate that with you. And one thing I wanted to address is, you said you've got no qualifications. Neither do I. I haven't got any certificates. I haven't got any training courses that gives me a certificate on the wall. I think the only one I've done is a herbology one, and that was online, so I don't really count it, to be fair.
Yeah.
So what is your opinion on that? You know, we see so many courses, don't we? Do you feel that is a prerequisite to give you to have a qualification? Do you think that's a prerequisite to do what we do? Or is it purely and simply, you know what you're doing? It's your nature. It's in your soul.
This is the problem, okay? Well-being, spiritualism, paganism, whatever title you wish to use, okay? I believe we're all under one umbrella, all right? But it's become massive. There's a big, big awakening. I am blessed with children as young as 3 coming to my stall to talk of the angels they talk with, for the parents to ask me to help to shut them down or to protect them, etc. The awakening right now is the rawest I've ever felt it. It's amazing. It's humbling. But here's the thing. There are business people out there that are jumping on it, and it's about money. Now, I'm not knocking anyone, please don't judge, that goes and gets qualifications. But a £450 course at a flash college does not prove you're a healer. Because when we all first started, you go back to because I work predominantly with a Native American chief. He's absolutely amazing, one of my guides. They didn't have all that. And I'm sure your guides, there was no qualifications. We've done it through life skills, for allowing them to channel their energy to us. And obviously always protecting who we're working with.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think it should be about money. We're supposed to help each other, are we not? We don't look down on anyone unless our hand is out to help them up.
No,
be it a word or a hug. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And I have been blessed with many experiences, so.
No, I completely agree with you. Now, the term light worker, I was talking about this today, funny enough, with the amazing Marlena Buck, can't even say her name. You know Marlena.
Yes, I do indeed. Absolutely beautiful energy.
Yeah, she is absolutely astonishing. I've had such an emotionally wrought out day, thanks to Marlena. Always brings hidden things to the surface, that one.
She's a monkey for that.
Oh, a complete monkey. And we were talking about light workers and how this awakening has brought a lot more light workers to the fore, and how it's the responsibility of the people that are already doing that kind of work to actually bring the existing light workers together to build centres, to actually start collaborating with each other. And I feel that this year's vibe is very much that way. How do you feel about that?
Most definitely. The only issue I have, because you know what it's like when we have our events, I come home and I go to pick up my teacup, and no word of a lie, it will shoot from my hand. At our last event, I come home and I was wetting myself with laughter. I was going to touch stuff and it flew, and it's because the energy was that high, that pure. Okay. However, some light workers are very much, and everyone's journey is different, right? But they're very much, it's all got to be godly, and that's not me. So I think we need to get that balance, because it shouldn't matter if the odd swear word comes out or you're like a ciggy, or because we're human. Yeah. It's life. And we need more of us normal ones that want to have a chin wag with them upstairs. I think all getting together.
It brings it more, it humanises it more, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the, I call them the Love and Light Brigade. That's not how I work. That's not how you work. That's not how Hazel works at all. We're very down to earth. We're very, individual.
What you see is what you get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get. And it, like you say, if the more you normalise something, the more acceptable it becomes. So
And don't you think that makes us more approachable as well, I think?
Oh, gosh, yeah, completely. Completely more approachable. Because it's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, I said a light worker can take many forms. We was explaining this term to a friend of mine. And it could be a teacher, it could be a nurse. They don't have
Most
to be
definitely.
part of the spiritual world. A light worker can transform in many, many ways. But this awakening that we've experienced in the last, 20, 30 years?
Yeah, it's got to be by now. Yeah, definitely.
It's bringing a lot more people into this realm
Mm.
that haven't been working or looking at that way before. So it's almost like they're looking for a new direction that maybe mainstream religion can't give them.
Exactly that. And you know what's
a purpose,
lovely?
to find their purpose.
Yeah. And do you know how lovely it is not to feel like a freak anymore? When I was first awakened to spiritualism, you was a freak, you was a witch, you was an outcast, don't talk about it. Psh, psh, psh. I stand proudly on my store in Eastgate, and I am proud of who I am. I'm proud of my journey. I'm proud to say I can work with spirit and do. And I don't feel odd anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's that acceptance. So why shouldn't other people have that blessing? Why shouldn't... We're not abnormal. There's more like us than this... Because, there's some religions out there and they've got very strong beliefs. Some have approached me on my stall. That was an education. And as I said, I don't judge your beliefs. Please don't judge mine. And if you truly believe I'm a witch, you're rather brave throwing curses at me yourselves. So, yeah. They went as far as to condemn me to hell. So I said, I guess I'll see you there. But, so, each your own. But you know what I'm like. So you can imagine me standing there doing it, can't you? And I was like, cool, see you there.
See you there. I'll have a glass of wine in my hands and a cigarette at the bar, mate.
And let's go.
And we'll have a further discussion on this. Yeah.
But no, that balance has got to come, surely, hasn't it? That it shouldn't be if you're only those who have got money can indulge it. If it's only if you're purer than pure, you can indulge it. It's got to be about everyday people. Children, relevant of age, gender, race, religion. It doesn't matter. It's something where we can all pull together as one.
Yeah, totally.
It's just,
Some of the biggest light workers I've known have actually been priests, believe it or not, in a conformed religion, but they're out there. And just because they, okay, so it's not my way, they conform to a specified religion, but the good they do and the empowerment they give people, and that's actually what it's about, is empowering a person to actually live their truth in whatever way that transpires. So whether that's spiritualism, whether that's religion, whether that's just being who they are as a person, it's allowing that person to say it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to do what you do. You're not
exactly
weird.
that.
You're not abnormal. You're not a freak. All those labels that society give us. Do you know what I mean? It's about acceptance and saying it's okay. And when we do these events...
Because you know what? Yeah,
carry on.
No, because you know what? Unless you've walked in someone's shoes, don't ever judge them. Don't judge their story.
Yeah.
I've had my eyes opened even further. I've always worked quite closely trying to help the homeless and everything else, which, we do at our event. We get the donations and everything else and the dogs that are out there, and bless their hearts. But people go, oh, yeah, well, it's their fault. No, actually, you don't know their stories. I am very fortunate they've confided in me. I would never share that. But there's people from all walks of life, and it just goes tits up.
Yeah.
So what? They're not entitled to your time, to your compassion. I've got someone who's from a very strict religion who really, they are people that have attacked me at my stall verbally. But this particular lady came to me because she said, I'm slightly different. She said, may I have healing? I said, you can, but in my home with my protection. This lady is absolutely awesome. She comes and sees me every week. She's something else. If her priest knew, she would be condemned for receiving hands-on spiritual healing. That to me is just bonkers.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't. She's still who she is. Mm-hmm. She's still praying to the Holy Spirit and everything else that she chooses to do. But she enjoys the healing and the upliftment.
Yeah, very much so. It's a tool that people can use. Whatever way you want to look at it, it's a tool that people use to empower their own lives.
Definitely, yeah. It's like, I'll give you, for instance, I've had this beautiful child been put in my path, and this child has been doing rescue work without realising. Okay, the vibration of this indigo child is something else, for want to give in a label. Okay, so Mum brought her down to me. She was recommended because if I find a child can't sleep, I gift them a little crystal. I sort out a dream catcher because I just want to help. So she comes along. Kel, you've got to meet her one day. She's something else. She sat there and she said to me, because I asked my guides to pull in, and they explained that the rescue work is exhausting her. She's only 9, okay?
9.
She sits 9. She is in her room chatting to, she calls them all her angels instead of spirit.
Yeah.
Okay? So she has chin wags with them all. She can describe them all. But then these other ones come in, shit to me, and they're a bit poorly. So I said, okay, my darling. I said, and what can we do for the poorly ones? So she said, I say to them, off you go, over there, you'll be better soon. She said, and off they go. She's a beautiful light. She said, but then I feel poorly for a little while. So I said to her, well, then what you need is a cloak. And I was explaining it in child terms. She said, she said, now, when my big white angel came to my bed to talk with me, you know, with all the little angels that fly around them, they explained to me to always say thank you for my gift. I work in love, light and honesty only, and I put protection. That's what they meant. Kel, she couldn't have got this from anywhere else.
Yeah. I know.
It's just, it's awesome.
I have to say, one of the most enlightening moments you have is when you talk to children.
Most definitely.
Because you know that, where do they get it from? You know what I mean? Yes.
The proof you need of that other dimension is listen to the child.
Yeah, because they'll come out with things that you don't ever expect them to come out with. And you go, oh, okay. I mean, I was talking at the last event we did at the Richmond Hall.
Yes.
There was a child that came, I say a child, she's probably about 11. Mum came to me first and was saying, you know, have you got anything that would help with this condition, that condition? And I was going, well, yeah, I have, but let me talk to the child. You know, I need to speak to the child.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I work very one-on-one, so I don't like to go by, I don't like to go by, generally I don't like to go, if possible, by the person that says I want to refer it. I'd rather talk to the person. And I was talking to
then your gift kicks in.
And then it kicks in. So I was talking to the child in question, again, probably about 10, 11, I've been labelled. Labelled ADHD, you know, all those labels that they put on it.
Yeah.
And she was talking to me about crystals, and I was like, you know, doing my thing. And I said to her, all you're doing is vibrating at a different vibration to everybody else. And what you have to do is, although you're vibrating at this level, you have to sort of like learn to sort of vibrate a little bit lower, just for normality's sake, and vibrate at your normal level when you need to work. And you know what? She went, you're the first person that says that to me. I really get what you're saying.
Oh.
And she chose a few crystals, and she chose the crystals, not me telling her what crystals to get.
Yeah.
And they were the perfect crystals for her. And you go, and she went, I feel so much better. Thank you so much. Do you know what I mean? And the next event, she'll come along. And
makes it all worthwhile.
It makes it worthwhile. Now, I'm not saying she hasn't got a condition. I'm not sitting here saying that at all.
No.
What we're saying is it's allowing them to be who they are within the realms of what we live with. In the same way as
Exactly.
when we were growing up, we were classed as weird freaks,
Yeah.
all those things. These children that come to us on a spiritual level come to us for a reason. And that's what I truly believe. You know what I mean? That people get brought to you for a reason, don't they? Every
most
single
definitely.
time. Even if you don't
Yeah.
know the reason when they first come to you, after 1-2 talks with them, suddenly you go, that's
But how many
why.
times have we said that and we go, why is that person come? Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know. What do you feel? Not sure. And all of a sudden,
It'll click.
it becomes a bit, yeah, definitely.
Mm.
I mean, at the moment, I do. It's particularly children and meditation. And I mean, like my own niece, you've met Rubsy.
Yeah.
She has some little anger bits going on. So she calls me Nana. That's my nickname. Nana, hold your crystals. So I give her a little crystal. She pops them in her hand. I've got Jaden, who's 4, can meditate. It's all we've got to take away this fear, because don't you think there's still a lot of fear around spiritualism? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there is a certain amount of fear. I think, it's still seen as, and I'm going to use air quotes, a gift.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
There's a general
It's an
awakening
awakening.
that's happening and has been happening for a few years yet. And I mean, I don't know about you, but in the last few months, the light workers that have been working regularly for, years, have really struggled. They've had to deal with a lot of internal issues. There's been a lot of internalizing rather than externalizing. We've almost been forced to solitary ourselves
Most definitely.
to deal with that. But what's happening next, what's coming in this year, is actually, like we said before, there's a collaboration going on. There's people reaching out to other light workers.
You can feel it coming.
You can feel it. I mean, I've struggled myself. I've not made any bones about that. I've reached out to other people and said, look, I'm struggling. I know what I'm doing with this energy work that I'm doing. Is this normal?
Yeah.
I'm questioning everything. What the hell's going on?
Likewise, and I think that's what it's done. It's almost as if
it's forced
like
us
you say,
out. It's forced us to reach out to other light workers and actually start forming networks of light workers rather than solitary light workers, which is what was happening. We had lots of little pockets of light workers rather than a network.
Which, if you go back in time, this is the way that any kind of thing used to work. Okay, it was always everyone helped everyone else. If one person had, you all had. Mm-hmm. We've become, because of journeys, etc. It's all changed. It's very much stabby back now, and oh no, you don't talk to them if they've got the same. But we are changing it. I believe, us light workers, we're changing that.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we all support each other. I have doubted, I mean, Kel, you've known me in this now for 4 years, but I've even doubted my own journey at the moment. Mm-hmm. Am I pushing the right way? What am I doing? Why am I feeling like this? Because the shift has been something else.
Yeah.
So I've reached out and I've been very fortunate. People have gifts come, no, look, this is what's happening. This is where you're going. Stay strong. You've got this. It's your journey. Keep going.
Yeah. That you've got this is a phrase that's been used so many times.
And I'm like, oh, why don't I feel it, lovey?
I say we've
you
got
know what
this.
It is?
Don't feel like I've got this, but I've so got this.
Yeah. I've got something, but not this. And do you know what? You know what it is with us? We need to practice what we preach, because when these people come to us, what do we both do? We go, you've got this. You've got this.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. You just have to go, internalize, work it out, and embrace it.
Nice.
And
say it to us, away you go.
We have a couple of questions in the chat room. So first of all, you talked about your guides earlier on.
Yes.
And so do you have a name for your guides?
Do you know what? I can tell you exactly what my Indian chief looks like. Uh-huh. I have one that works with me, because there's two. One is slightly taller. Now, my big chief, he has pure white feathers. He has turquoise colour on the ends, and he wants to come in the room now. Hello, my lovely. There's a surprise. I thought my feet were going. Very, very proud man. But his skin that he's got on him, his cloths that he wears, his outfit is very pristine. He's really looked up to. Then I've got me, my little naughty one. Now, my little naughty one, he's Thundercloud. He has, his name I know, black feathers, gold tinges, and years ago, without even realising what I'm doing, I painted him in ceramic.
Okay.
And I've since given to him by other people who are light workers who've said, oh, this is one of your guides. And I'm like, I've got the ornament in my front room that I painted. And it's bizarre. So, yeah, no, he's the only guy that I've got the name for. Is my Thundercloud. Love him.
It's funny, isn't it? Sometimes they identify themselves and sometimes they don't.
I feel them. I can tell you what they look like.
Yeah.
I can tell you their strengths. But no, only ever Thundercloud has allowed me his name. But do I have enough time to go into a deep enough meditation to connect? No, and that's something I've got to work on. That's my aim this year.
Yeah. Yeah, there is that, isn't there? Is that time to go into that deep enough meditation. And you're the same situation as me. You know, you've got kids, you've got a business, you've got, it's so much else going on that by the time you get a chance to actually sit down and do a meditation, it's like, oh, I'm exhausted.
And you're like, yeah. And I know meditation helps with that, but you just think to yourself, do you know what? I'm going to have my ciggy and my cup of tea and I'm going to hit the sack because I'm done.
I'm so done with
but
today.
We do, don't we?
Yeah, so do. Okay, another question that's come through in the chat room for you is, how do you identify a light worker?
You feel their energy.
Yeah.
Now, that can be good and bad because I've realised I've got what's known as an empath, okay? So I have to be very, very cautious. I have to carry hematite on me because I've got to let that absorb the negativity. I feel people's energies. As a healer, if you're meeting a fellow healer, it's like an intense warmth, like you know how magnets stick together? Yeah. You'll feel that in their hands. And you just look, and then you're like, oh, do I say it? And then now I do. I just go, oh, do you have a gift? Do you work with healing? Are you channeled? Are you? And so far, touch wood, it's not let me down. Yeah. But I feel people's energies. But then I also feel people that should be a light worker and are still a bit dark. So then I send them a little bit of light and I put the old cloak around.
Yeah, because we've all come across people that work on the other side.
Yes.
Of the fence. They're not light workers. I don't want to use the term dark workers because that's...
We'll go yin and yang. There's a bit of yin and yang in everyone, I think.
Yeah.
Some are more yang than yin. Oh, frig. Welcome to my world.
You send them to me. That's the problem. You go, yeah, go and talk to her. She knows what she's talking about on that level. I'm like, thanks,
she's
Jen.
the pro on that. That way. What, you want nurturing a little bit? Come here, darling. No, that shit, go that way.
I'm like, cheers, Jen. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. Yeah, I really like talking to that one. In my view, a light worker can transform in any kind of way. I likened it to, I was talking to a teacher earlier on today, and I said, you know what, in a funny kind of way, you're your very own light worker, because out of a class of 30 kids, you will see the healer, you will see the genius, you will see the physicist, you will see the latent talent that is yet to transpire, you will see the
little flower that needs a bit of water on and needs a bit of nurture, or they do, they are most definitely like, look at nurses.
Exactly. They don't have to be working in the spiritual field to be a light worker. You see it in a lot of the services, actually. If you're not going to follow the spiritual path, they generally get called into the services, and that can be any of the services from, and even down to, and I know this sounds almost like hypocrisy, but even down to like Army, Navy, Air Force. Do you know what I mean? Because their aim to go into that is actually not for destruction, it's for help, to help people. And how often do you see the armed services go into earthquake zones, or the armed services
exactly
go
that,
war zones, not to destruct, but to help the local populace.
Because sometimes Mother Nature has enough and she has a little rebel, so she'll send us a volcano, she'll send a tsunami, but there is a reason for it. But you're right, it is those forces, the firemen, the nurses, they'll all do out of hours, the army, the navy, the police. They go in.
one step beyond to help a person.
Are you telling me that's an ordinary Joe Bloggs? That's not. That's someone that's connected. That's a light worker.
That's a light worker. So whether or not it's done on a spiritual front or it's done as part of a job, it's not a job, it's a vocation. It's something that calls to your soul. Yeah. It's something that makes you take that next step with a person. It doesn't have to be a collective. It has to be just if you affect one person in this life, then you've done that job. And that is my definition of a light worker. And that's how you identify them. Somebody who will go that one step further, that one step beyond what's expected to help somebody else. You know,
and you never ever think of ourselves. I mean, I've seen both of us work in that way. We're single parents. We're blessed with our boys. But you know what? So long as it's not the detriment of our boys, we are always there above and beyond for others. Not because we want thanks, not because we want, aren't they wonderful? No, we're not. Because you know what? We're just taking it that little step further because we're light workers.
Because we have to.
Yeah. I can't sleep otherwise.
Exactly. You can't not deal with it.
No.
You know what I mean? You can't not go that one step further. Whether that just be, like for you, on your stall, you'll go, that child's having a problem sleeping. So you'll gift them a dream catcher. Not all the time, obviously, because you wouldn't have a business. But you know,
I know the ones that haven't got, and that's the beauty of it. Yeah, is it doesn't matter what they're dressed like or whatever. I'm not looking at that. No. I'm connecting with their souls, and I know when someone is genuine and they haven't got. Well, then, as a light worker, I will gift them what is needed, the dream catcher or the little bit of crystal, because that's what we're here for. Because do you know what? We don't ever give to receive, but you don't ever know what's round the corner.
Yeah, I agree. You never know what's coming to you.
No. And I've been at rock bottom.
Oh, God.
Haven't we? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, God, yeah, too many times.
And if only someone had come along and gone, here, my darling, give that to your child, that'll help him sleep. Do you think, how grateful would we have been?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And we see it on a day-to-day basis. We see that. We see that effect. Yeah, not everybody's grateful for the help you give, and you can't expect grateful. You're not doing it for that. You're doing it just because you can. No. Just because that's your job. You know, in the same way as a policeman will say the right words in the right place, or a fireman will do. And it's not just about people. It's about life. It's about life, whether that be a dog or a cat or a bird or not so much an insect. There's my boundary.
There's your boundary. All right, I'll go so far as I'm cool with insects, and I don't care. People can all know I chat to everything out in my garden. However,
I'm right with bees, wasps. On the other hand,
I was just going to say, don't give me no wasp or no little spiders that want to pop out of corners. It ain't happening.
I know.
My spirit side's gone.
I know. That's where there's a line.
Yeah, there's a line there.
I'm not that Buddha. To be fair, to say all life is sacred.
No, I do have limits, I'm afraid. Yes.
When a wasp faces me down, when I've got a jam donut in the garden, I will not have that.
No, just saying. No one taking our donuts.
But you know where I'm coming from. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You go that one step further, which is why you see videos of people saving a kitten from a raging, torrent. You know, you see these people. I love those kind of videos because it shows me the light workers in the world. They may not recognise, for that one split moment in time, they have embraced a light worker moment.
Do you not think as well, though, that sometimes that is the beauty of it? When you can see that someone is clearly a light worker and they're oblivious.
But don't you think there are so many light workers that don't even recognise they're light workers, and you go, and they lose themselves along the way.
Yeah.
And you go, but, oh my God, sort yourself out. Sort it out, because this is what you are. This is what you need to embrace. And if you embrace that, then this shit would go away. Excuse my French there. This wouldn't
French
be
is as
important. Do you know what I mean? So embrace what you are. You are a light worker. That's what you do. You do it naturally. You don't even recognise that within yourself. And if you did, then oh my God, how much would you be empowered with yourself?
Without the ego. That's the secret.
Exactly.
Because I found that as well. There are, sadly, some light workers and their ego is mahoos. And that's not me. I can't be doing with that. I find that intimidating. I don't know. I question things then because that's not for me.
It's because it's not about self. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not about self. It's not about doing it for you. You don't do stuff for yourself. You know, I mean, you know, I know the work you've done on certain people has not ever been about yourself, even though it's had a detrimental effect on you.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
They don't see that. They don't see that.
No, it gives us something to think about, doesn't it?
Certainly does. You think, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah.
But because of who you are, I know you're like, oh man.
It's who we are.
But it's who you are.
And how many times have we said to each other, like when my store was on Canvey, obviously now I'm Basildon, right? But when I was on Canvey, you go, oh my God, I've just had to, someone's come to you, you've helped them, but why? And this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And we go, no more. We go, okay. And then what do? A few months
next
down
time
the line,
I speak to you, no, I know. Next time I speak to you, go.
Yeah.
So how did that work out? You go, well,
yeah, got done again.
I know. I must have mug written across my forehead, you know, but I can't say no. Do you know what I mean?
Here we are.
Do you think that's a fault within ourselves, though, or are we using spiritualism as a reason why we can't say no? Do you think that's a fault within ourselves?
Do you know what? That's a valid point because I don't know about yourself, but part of my journey, I did start to think, oh, crap, I can't say that. That's not spiritual. I mustn't. That's wrong. I mustn't do this. I mustn't think that. I mustn't. But do you know what? Fuck it. The Native American guys all sat there smoking their pipes and sharing it and shit. Mm. You don't get much more spiritual than that. They can transform themselves into eagles, bears, all these wonderful things. They vibrate very high. Yeah. They had it all going on and they ate and did what they liked, just didn't harm the others. So, yeah, I think we all need to get a bit of a grip that we can actually just be real and we can say no. But the trouble is, me and you, it's single mama syndrome. We just don't say no. We keep going.
Is it single mama syndrome or is that light worker syndrome? I don't know.
I don't know. It's one of the other little sayings.
Or, you know, because one of the fundamental boundaries that we're supposed to put in is the ability to say no to people.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only help somebody so far. They have to do the work themselves. Otherwise, what we do is definitely fruitless. You can show them the door. You can't push them through it. They have to walk through that themselves. I think I'm a little harder than you.
Yeah, you are. You are. I need to learn because I'm just like, oh no, go on, you just keep battering me this way and that way. Whereas you go, no, I'm done there.
Not all the time. I go quite a long way down that road before I go, no.
But this is the thing. You do, and you give your heart and your soul to it. You really, really do. But yeah, you're right. Sometimes we have got to say no.
I agree.
But when?
It's that knowing that point of no. Enough now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is that point of no. And it's really hard when you know you have the fundamentals to help that person, but they're just not taking that point. Come on, guys.
Oh, that's so frustrating. Yeah.
Oh, it's the most frustrating point in the world. It really, really is. We've had another question in the chat room. So what would your advice be to have a stronger connection with your guides? I mean, for me at this moment in time, I can't work spiritually.
With the shift that's going on at the moment, I am finding it very, very hard. Mm-hmm. But I have also been fortunate that I still can. Nowhere near the same intensity. If you want to get, for me, when I'm struggling, I know I need to be outside, okay? Everyone's different. When I want to connect more, I get myself outside. Because I don't like getting wet. That's all, because it's cold. But hey, nothing I love more than a good morning, right? Out there, I like to meditate. When I'm starting to my guys, get into that meditation, call them in, because they all come, they all appear. But also, I think working your channel is a very, very important thing. It is no good thinking to yourself, 3 months, do you know what, I'm just going to go and have a chat with my guides. Then ignoring them for 6 months. Yeah. No. you want to get that connection strong, you've got to work with them, talk with them, communicate, ask for guidance. But then in the same way, what I like to do is I'll see people go through Eastgate, past my stall, and I can see the struggle. I can feel the struggle. So then I don't ask to be used as a channel. I call my guides because they love nothing more than working with people on this dimension. And I go, send them a bit of light, help them out, keep them safe or get them home safe. You see the elderly people struggling with the bags. I can't carry them all the way home for them. So I ask my guides, give them the strength, let them get home. That's how you build, in my opinion. That's how I work, because everyone works different. That's how I build my communication stronger.
See, that's the other thing, is that the recognition within anybody in the spiritual field is to understand that everybody resonates differently. So that's why the Crystal Sister team works quite well, because we all resonate on different levels. You know, it's like we've said it right at the beginning of the show, it's a 3-pronged attack. Definitely. It sounds quite nasty. It sounds a little aggressive. You know, it's a 3-pronged attack.
Our little triangle. We're coming in.
Little tribe. You know, but I will go to Hazel if someone's coming to me and I don't feel like I'm getting that message across, or I'll go to Jenny, or Jenny will come to me, or Hazel, or, you know, Hazel will come to me, or Jenny. You know what I mean? In between the three of us, that's why we call ourselves the Crystal Sisters, because we kind of got it covered. Do you know what I mean? Between the three of us. Now, I've found that the problem on a spiritual front at this moment in time, I've got a block.
Yeah.
So how do you overcome blocks? I know how I'm working with that, because I'm changing my pathway is evolving. Not changing, it's evolving. And how I used to work is actually now evolving into something a little different. And that's a necessary process. Yeah. But I haven't fully embraced that process yet. So that's why it's taking a little time to re-vibrate.
And this is a problem.
Frequency. How do you deal with blocks and changes of frequency?
For me, once I'm aware of it, and that sounds a really bizarre thing to say, okay, but you've probably experienced yourself, you're not feeling quite right, and you think, am I coming down with something? Then all of a sudden you think, no, here we go, I've got me a block, or no, here we go, there's a shift in the energies again. I speak direct with my guides and I ask for their help and their assistance. I also take a bit of me time, so I just switch off, and that sounds really awful, but I switch all responsibility just for half an hour, because as you know, Kel, life is full on for all of us. I take myself away. I'm blessed to have a little room garden, and I go out there, sit there. I've got my fag, I've got my cup of tea. I think nothing. Just the elements around me. It could be raining, it could be windy, it could be gorgeous sunshine. I just switch off, day or night, and hope that my block's removed. I do speak direct to my guides, but then I have had the times when I don't feel like my guides are hearing me. I don't feel like they're communicating because that block is that strong. Then all I literally can do is just batten down the hatches and ride the storm.
That's all you
but
can
then
do.
You'll know. Yeah, but you'll notice it as well, because I won't be as bubbly as normal, because I'm literally trying to conserve what energy I've got to get through that time till the block removes itself again.
Yeah. Oh, I can completely understand exactly what you're saying, because that's where I'm at the moment, is batten down the hatches and just ride the storm
That's
out.
it. Just got to ride that baby out.
All you can do is ride it out and keep working, keep trying, keep not necessarily working.
Never give up.
Never let it go. I mean, every single night I say work, that's not the right term. I meditate. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know, it's not necessarily a connection. So
Do you know
I go,
what?
okay,
I
fine.
can't switch off to meditate at the moment.
I think that's a common problem, though. I
Yeah,
think this
everyone
is
I'm speaking to.
Yeah, it's a really common problem. It's almost like there's a cut off from the source. But what I got told today, and I'll go back to Marlena, as I say, it's been an incredible day for me. She said what they've done is they've stepped back, because there's a lot of work going on in the background that is. So although they've sort of like gone, okay, so you guys are okay for the minute. You're all connecting. You're all doing what you're doing. Keep on doing what you're doing. But we need to go and do some prep work. You know, we need to now take it to the next level. So we need to convene over here in our little spiritual world.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So But you're okay. It's okay. That's fine. You guys down there, carry on. Carry on. You don't really need our guidance because you've had our guidance, so you know what you're doing. It's almost like your boss at work who says, this is...
Yeah, that's what it's like. It's like, do you know what? You've got this. But actually, I want to have that relaxation of that meditation. I mean, I'm walking around with... I did a crystal healing day course, yeah?
Yeah.
Went off and did some courses on that. So you can do a really, really quick meditation with crystal points.
Yeah.
All right. It's all about a breathing technique. Wicked. You can do it anywhere. No one has to know. You don't have to shut your eyes. All of that. Cool.
Yeah.
They're in my pocket. They're burning hot. They're amazing. I can feel the vibration. No word of a lie. I put them in my hand and start to do a breathing technique, and it's like someone's crushing my chest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, seriously? I just wanted that little bit of boost, that bang, gone. But put me back in my pocket, hot as you like.
Yeah, doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it is almost like there's a disjoint between the guide factor. The guide
yes,
factor.
most definitely
like
with the guide, yeah.
It's like the X factor, doesn't it? The guide factor and the spiritual worker factor. And that's because, you know, and that's what's pushing people together, actually. That's what's pushing people to go to, you know, I love Cheryl McGregor. She's absolutely brilliant. I've been reaching out to her recently saying, Cheryl, help, what the hell is going on here? And she's like, you know, seriously, don't worry about it.
But you know what we need, really? We need to be able to sort life enough that we could just bugger off to a field camping. None of this flashness, none of this techno, just good old-fashioned, do you know what I mean?
Switch. You brought techno into it. Come on, girl.
No, that's cruel because you know I'm pants at it. That's why I can live at it. If you want a hug or anything like, yeah, I'm there. Don't you start quoting iPhones and malarkeys because I'm not doing it.
I'll be there going, girls, gather around. Right, that's the other thing I wanted to address with you. Male factor in the spiritual world.
Not enough.
Not enough, is there?
No.
Why do you think... Now, this is a thing that I'm going to be talking about in a few weeks with an absolutely awesome man called Andy Horner, is the male factor. There is an uprise of male depression and anxiety issues. Is that because the male perspective is not embracing their spirituality enough? Or have we disempowered men being empowered women? What's your feelings on this? This is a bit of a thing for me at the moment.
Do you know what? It fascinates me because it's almost as if, I mean, bearing in mind, okay, we're working with spirits, right? There is no force bigger than that, okay? But for some reason, it seemed as girly, feminine. What the frig? You're dealing with a world that you can't physically touch and you're channeling it. There's nothing more powerful than that itself. And yet, men don't have that confidence. I think with women, it's like we can be a bit different. Men still, it's very much you've got to be the alpha male. And it's amazing because that is changing. I've seen it on my stall. I've seen the changing. I'm blessed with so many male customers now you would not believe that are coming on that are starting to awaken. But it's been held off for so long. How many, like me and yourself, okay? All right, when I do the spiritual events, we could reel off so many names of women that are either readers, healers, therapists. Yeah? How many men? How many men?
I can do mediums.
Yeah,
but
like, do you know what I mean?
Not so much the other side of it.
But there are men out there that would probably feel, forgive the stereotype, but a darn sight more comfortable going to a man for a reading or going to a man for healing than maybe to ourselves, because we could be part of their emotional trauma that they want help with.
Oh, God, yeah.
But it's not enough. The only thing I can hope for is that our younger generations, that the women in power, that they can now start embracing. Because do you know what? You're not a pansy if you've got a gift. You're not weird. You're who you are. I actually think it's a strength.
Oh, God, yeah. I love an
spiritually
awakened man.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, yes. Where are they hiding?
Yeah, where are they hiding? Well, no, they seem to... They're there, but they don't embrace it in the way that women seem to these days. And we need a bit more of that, do you not feel?
definitely. But don't you think dress code, have you noticed that? See, I've noticed that on the stall, right? There's a dress code that people feel they have to dress a certain way to be a light worker, as in our sense, okay? If you're into smarter clothes and you can't, it's baloney. It doesn't matter whether you're wearing a 3-piece tailored suit or a pair of rip-off jeans and barefoot. It doesn't matter. Doesn't mean you can't channel this amazing energy that's out there for us all to use to grow us all.
Oh, I
and
agree.
that's that last bit, because the man doesn't need the three-piece suit to make him.
Depending on the perspective of that, Sorry, went off on a tangent.
We're off on our own little thing. Is it that stigma that, unless the guy wears the harem pants and everything, then he can't be into it? No, you can wear your 3-piece suit, you can wear your ripped jeans, your harem pants. It don't matter.
You can be who you want to be. I wrote a blog on this recently, and I said, what am I? And I literally broke it down. So, what am I? I'm a single mum. Does that make me lesser? No. Am I a radio host? Does that make me famous and a celebrity? Hell no.
You are to me, darling.
Maybe. I work in a shop. Does that make me a muggle? Do you know what I mean? I work in... And I broke it down. I said, no. I made my own box. I dress how I want to dress. I wear what I want to wear. I pierce where I wish to pierce. I tattoo where I wish to tattoo or not, as the case may be. I wear my hair. I dye my hair how I wish to dye my hair because I want to. Not because it conforms because I'm a spiritual person. Not because I am anything other than who I am. And that was the point I was trying to make in that blog. You can work in an office in the city, wearing a 3-piece suit, doing the banker thing. The banker thing. Yeah. Nearly used a different word for that. But be incredibly spiritual. You can be a male healer and not wear hair and pants. I mean, God forbid, Jesus. You don't have to wear a beard if you don't wish to. No. You know what I mean? You can be who you want to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not a girly girl. There is nothing more comfortable for me than a lovely pair of harems and a floaty top, and I'm sorted. I'm in my own little world. I'm quite content. Nice little bit of colour around me, but I like my nails painted. That's my only weakness. But that doesn't make me no better, no worse than the next person who's got that Gucci stuff on or whatever.
Mm. And that doesn't make you less spiritual or more spiritual just because you've got Gucci on or harem pants on and bare feet. It doesn't matter.
It's your soul.
It's what you do. It's your energy that matters. It's how you work that matters.
Our integrity.
It's your integrity, your credibility. It's your connection to other people. It's how you put your gift across, how you wish to put your gift across that matters, and being honest with that. Oh, I've
Definitely.
got off a little soapbox.
Always
honest. This is like a little thing for me at the moment.
That's your thing at the moment, yeah.
It is my thing at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really important lesson for a lot of people, that a lot of people are missing the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bianca in the chat room. Being vegan doesn't make you more spiritual.
Nope.
You know, I eat meat. I eat bacon and eggs for breakfast, believe it or not.
See, that's the weird thing. Yeah, but that's the weird thing, right? I went vegetarian when I was younger, and it lasted until, and it's probably going to offend some people listening, but there you go, until I smelt a bacon sarnie. And that was the end of me being vegetarian. There you go. But at the moment, since this energy shift, I'm struggling with meat, and it is bizarre. Really bizarre. It's like my body is craving, and it's not all healthy stuff because I'm eating all my chocolate. You know what I'm like. I'm a chocoholic.
God, I love
all
chocolate.
My chocolate, my cakes. And I don't even want veggie. You know, you get all this corn. I don't want none of that neither. Mm. Really pulling towards a big plate of vegetables. It's obviously what my soul needs at the moment. But then the next day, I could sit there and eat the Big Mac and be absolutely fine. Mm. But again, I'm not in a box. And that's the biggest lesson that we've all got to learn. Don't put anyone in a box.
Exactly.
Why would you trap someone?
Why
Why
would you
trap
do
'em?
that to yourself?
Yeah. Don't trap them.
Don't trap anybody. Don't trap yourself.
No.
Just because society is telling you that there's this box that you should conform to, do not put
No.
yourself in a box. You know, just because you've done a course that tells you to do something, use that knowledge, evolve it to make it yours. You know,
Exactly.
and that's the point, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. And never cause harm to others, because
Well, obviously.
there is some really random ideas out there at the moment, and it is only my opinion, okay? But I don't think eating all this crunchy granule malarkey does as much good. But
Well,
they
you know,
push it on you.
on a physical level, it probably does. You know,
Oh,
listen to the
yeah,
doctors
fantastic
and
figure.
stuff.
Yeah.
But as we're going over time, but let's continue because it's going well. You know, why put yourself in that box? Why? You know, I suffered years. You know, quite a long time ago. I had really, really bad, a really bad issue, as much as I would say on the subject.
Yeah.
And I did all the Western side of medicine. I had all the scopes, the tests, this, that, and the next, and I was like horrendously underweight. As you know, you was around for that time.
Yeah. Exactly.
Really, really, really poorly. I had huge amounts of time off work with this particular issue. Anyway, it got to the point where I had to do something, and I went to a Chinese medicine guy. I had acupuncture.
Yeah.
And he gave me this potion to drink, which was horrendous. I mean, God, I've done some spells in my time, but this potion that he made me brew was like I was married at the time, and I had a lodger at the time. This was pre-children, and both of them were like holed up in the front room while I was like brewing this potion. Oh my God, you've got to drink that! Like, trust me, what the hell are you two moaning about? I've got to drink this crap. Do you know what I mean? However, forget the Western side. I literally came off all the Western medicine, who wanted to put me on a tablet for antidepressants, a tablet for this, a tablet for that, which was having no effect whatsoever.
And
so
then you
I
have to have
came
the
off,
tablet to counteract the symptoms of the other tablet. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I came off all of that, went to this Chinese doctor. At the time, I wasn't spiritually aware like I am now, and went down the acupuncture and this potion drink. And you know what? Within a week, I literally was so much better.
Yeah.
So much better. And there was one occasion, it's the best high I've ever had. He'd done this
Yeah.
acupuncture session. I felt off my face. It was great. Oh,
That's something I've never tried. I'd love to have a try at that.
yeah. Lots of needles in you is not my,
Mm.
I'm not a tattoo kind of girl, believe it or not. I love the piercing, but not the tattoo. And,
Yeah, see, I love a tattoo.
yeah, so you love a bit of a tattoo, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, that's something I've been considering lately, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so lots of pins everywhere with the acupuncture. I literally was high as a kite, and it was a family occasion, and I was that high. There's a baby, and I couldn't remember who this baby was, and they're looking at me going, "It's Courtney," and I'm like, "Oh, Courtney!" Honestly, it was like I was off my face on drugs. And they were like, and I was going, "I'm so sorry. I've had acupuncture," and they couldn't believe the effect of this acupuncture. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh my God, I feel like off my face." It was like I've been on a hard drug session, and I hadn't.
Yeah.
All I'd had was acupuncture. And anyway, I went home, and like my husband at the time was like, "I can't believe you acted like that." I was like, "I'm so sorry." I had to go to bed.
I wanted to do that, didn't I?
Yeah, because that's I set out to upset the family that night.
Yeah, it's always a plan, yeah.
They now think I'm a drug addict. Thanks, Chinese doctor. Slept.
Oh, dear.
The next morning, I felt fantastic. Bearing in mind, it had been a long time where I'd been ill. It was the first morning I'd woken up where I hadn't had symptoms and got to work on time, got through the day at work, absolutely buzzing my nuts off. It was amazing experience.
Yeah.
Went back to him the week after drinking this potion. He was like, "How have you been?" And I was like, "Oh my God, do that again. Do it again. I need more of that." Do you know what I mean? Absolutely amazing. A couple of comments that have come through in the chat room while we've been talking about this sort of thing is Bianca. She says we were talking about food and how we're the vegan, you don't have to be a vegan to be more spiritual. She said, me too. I think it's ascension symptoms. I think the light workers that have been working for a while are ascending to another level to enable the light workers to come through, the new light workers to come through. And Ashley has said, don't necessarily need to be singularly spiritual to follow a path or be on a journey that resonates with a higher energy vibration. And that's true as well. You don't have to be on the, and I'm going to use air quotes, spiritual path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can raise your energy vibration onto a different level. We've talked about nurses, we've talked about doctors, we've talked about police force, we've talked about the emergency services, we've talked about people that work in animal rescue. We've talked about all of those. Those people are doing it naturally without even realising what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
And that is just as an important part of a journey, a spiritual journey, without even realising you're on that journey, without embracing spirit in meditation, working in an energy level, or any of those things.
I mean, when I look back at Lily Fry, rest her soul, she was a very well-known, respected medium on healer, on Canvey. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, she never done none of this meditation stuff or anything like that. She didn't do all that.
No.
But her gift was something else, for want of a better word, gift. Yeah, it's old school words. Was that? So, do you know what? We all just got to learn to be who we are. The judging's got to stop.
Yeah.
We've got to, don't look down on others. Do you know what I mean? We can learn from everyone and everything.
Yes. Oh, I agree with that. Some of the best platform mediums, actually, there was one, can't remember the name of the lady, but she was frowned upon in the spiritual platform world because she would have a drink, she'd have a fag, she'd get up, she'd light her fag up and she'd stand up in front of like the audience and be like, all right, my love, do you know what I mean? I'm coming to you over that best medium I've ever seen it work in my life. Right?
Yeah. You know why? There's no complication there, is there?
She just was who she was, channeling spirit, doing what she did. And she had a drink. I'm not saying, in the paranormal field, I would never, ever, ever recommend having a drink before you go out on location. But in the environment...
Yeah, don't mix two spirits, safe.
No. She was safe. She was protected. She was working in a way that she was working with. So she'd have a glass of wine on the table and she'd have a cigarette on the go and she'd be like connecting and people were like literally praying at her feet. This woman was awesome.
Because she was so amazing, yeah.
And then I've seen others that get up and they're like, oh, I need that half an hour before I go up a platform and I only drink water and I can't do this. And
what's that about? I don't like it, Kel. I don't like water.
I don't mind a glass of water occasionally.
No, I don't like it.
I am rather partial to my wine, you know this.
I like a cup of tea.
Yeah, I do like a cuppa.
Yeah. Well, it'd be an amaretto if I did, but mine is my cup of tea. That's my ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, I've done some of my best work when I've come in from the nights clubbing. I'm not going to lie. That is when all my personal boundaries are down.
Ah, see, yeah.
And and I'm not going to. I'm no word of a lie. I've been out. I've energetically worked out because I love a dance. I love a dance.
Oh, you got boogie.
You know, everybody out there knows I love a drink. I'm not an alcoholic, as some people
No.
But, you know, I do like to indulge in the occasional glass of wine, she says. I do like...
Okay, so the glass is like 2 pints worth, but that's irrelevant. It's only one.
Exactly. You know, it's one bottle. I like, you know, I go out, I have a good night. Some of the best work I've done is in that mindset. When I've come in from a night out, I'm actually energetically raised because of the music and the natural euphoria you get when you're in that state. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I might have had a drink. My personal boundaries are then down. You know what I mean? And I've got in my crystal room and I've banged out the best freaking meditation or ritual going. And the other nights I can be like dead sober all day, work in a dead serious way, you know, do all the prep work and, you know, all the things you're supposed to do by the book, you know, and actually struggle and actually find it's like walking through mud or not achieving what I wanted to achieve. You know what I mean? So I don't restrict myself. I don't beat myself up if I haven't conformed to certain things. That's what that's where I go with it, if it feels right at the time. But that's where you have to be dead honest with yourself. I think there's a level of honesty with your own self that you have to embrace.
Yeah, you see, because I'm not, I mean, obviously I used to enjoy a massive drink when I was younger. I became a mum. And I'm not saying, because I know obviously you're a mum, but that is still one of my lessons to learn, is that they can mix, because I'm just not comfortable with it. It's really bizarre. I used to love nothing more than chilling out with a nice drink, but now, as I say, a cup of tea. I'm like an old girl. I've got to sort it out. I might as well go and get a purple and slippers, actually.
I need to show you a good time, I feel.
I'll tell you what, they won't know what's it, because I'm a lightweight as well, so it'll be interesting.
Oh, my God. And people say I'm a lightweight, believe it or not. Anyway, on that note, we are running a quarter of an hour over time, so I think we need to wrap this up, even though I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I so appreciate it. I so appreciate it. Now, guys listening, thank you so much for joining us in the chat room. As always, your comments and your interaction is so much appreciated. Next week on Parasearch, tomorrow evening, we have got the Parasearch Radio Encore show. Oh, my goodness. We were talking alien abduction with Jay Lynch, Teresa, and Mark Manley. Trust me. You want to laugh, you want to listen to that show. I was the only person talking sense, I would just like to add. But if you want to laugh, have a listen to that show. On Tuesday is the Paranormal Concept Show with Paul Rook. We are talking curses in the studio that night. He keeps changing the topic on me. I'm saying curses. It could be something different by the time Tuesday comes. But for the moment, we're talking curses. On Wednesday night, we have a double show for you. We have the Supernatural Chat Show with Sean Cadman, and we have Haunted Histories with Penny G. Morgan. She's got Lee Roberts in the studio. I'm just waiting on confirmation from Sean as to who he's got on his show. As always, both shows are absolutely awesome. You need to tune in at 8 p.m, going through to 10 p.m. on Wednesday. On Thursday evening, we've got the Spectral Zone. Now, last night, the guys were out investigating at the old Victorian place in London. She keeps telling me what it is, and I keep forgetting, and then she keeps telling me off. But she was with John Blackburn, and this was an event that was raised I think it was to do with a charity event. Hazel Ford from Haunted Happenings was behind it. She was there too. There was even a Dalek there. So, guys, on Thursday evening, find out everything that happened on that investigation on the Spectral Zone, kicking off at 9 p.m. on Thursday. On Friday evening, the Dark Mirror Show with Mark Manny, Kaz Rooney and myself. We've got the GSI team in, and their newbie, Karen. She's in the studio talking all about lone vigils on a paranormal investigation. They're always a good crack. The Irish are always a good crack. And I'm going to Ireland this year, and I'm going to actually meet and investigate with these guys, and I can't wait to talk to them on Friday. Now, next Sunday night, I've got the fabulous Andy Mercer in the studio. We're talking runes. He's written a book recently all about rune theology and mythology and how to use them. And this is an area that, although I've got my own runes, I've never really sort of embraced the runology kind of pathway. So I'm going to be very interested in talking to Mr. Andy Mercer next Sunday at 9 p.m. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you've missed any of the shows this week, don't forget you can catch up on Spreaker or on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to the channels, because then you will get updated on any of the shows that get uploaded once we've aired. Thank you so much, Jenny, for joining me. It's been an absolutely amazing show. I knew it would be. See, and you was all nervous beforehand.
Bless you. Thanks for having me, darling.
And on that note, thanks for listening, and I will see you tomorrow night. Good night, guys.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.